So then number 1 now, he has the Detroit Lions as the most vulnerable. I don't know if I actually agree.
I don't know. I'm back and forth on that.
I don't think I agree. The most vulnerable.
No, the most.
Maybe he's right.
The most vulnerable, I think, is Dallas, just because of Philly. That's why I put it number 1.
I think I'm with you there too.
That's why I put it number 1. But Detroit is probably top 3. I mean, they haven't looked super duper sharp.
Bucks or Lions more vulnerable, in your opinion?
I think the Bucks.
I think the Bucks are more vulnerable too.
The Bucks are more vulnerable than the Lions.
I think there is a line, that 4 to 5 spot. So the Texans, the 49ers, the Chiefs, and the Bills. If I'm making the list, now we completely lose the purpose of the segment. I'm probably going Chiefs 8, Bills 7, Texans 6, 49ers 5, Ravens 4, Bucks, Lions 3, Bucks 2,
and then Cowboys.
I think that's right.
I'd probably have something similar to that, yeah.
But to have Detroit at 1, I do think that you can argue this, and Ziggy would be able to make a good argument to have Detroit at number 1 because they have not been impressive. I mean, if you go through their 3 games right now, you're down to the wire with the Rams, who you could argue should have won that game. It was back and forth, so it's a good win for Detroit. Lose to Tampa. I mean, tons of miscues, but you still lose that game
at home. And
then against Arizona, they were in control of that most of the way through, but there was that huge 2-minute warning call that went in their favor.
Yep.
And from then, give them credit. They did control the game from there. But Jared Goff has still been shaky. Defense has been okay. But Goff being shaky is not something that makes you feel comfortable. And Laporta, where's Laporta? He's kind of disappeared. And then the biggest threat is that, the Vikings look really good and the Packers are winning games and then looking good without Jordan Love.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit's going to be fine. I was going to say that the same type of thing. Their defense has looked good the last, especially this past week against the Cardinals, held them to 13 points on the road.
It's 2010, yeah.
2010, 2013.
Or 2013, yeah, 2013.
The offense, Goff has looked shaky, which is a bit of a concern, but it's early and I think they'll be fine. But I believe they're most vulnerable, not because of how good they may be, but it's because Minnesota's here at 3-0. And Green Bay's 2-1 without their starting quarterback, and
Caleb Williams is about to come on.
No, he's But why are we just now going to write off Minnesota just because they're Minnesota? I mean, they beat the Niners and the Texans. Of course they're a threat to the Lions.
Yeah, it is kind of funny with the Vikings how I feel like I've said it every week, and I'm a fairly pessimistic fan, as most people know. I don't get my hopes up very often. My boss actually is a Vikings fan, and he texted me today. We've been texting after each game, just very briefly. And he said, too much hype. We need to stay in the shadows. And I wrote back, I'm approaching excitement the same way I would approach petting a tiger. If I'm going out to get excited, I have a feeling it could bite me.
It's got to be slow, right?
Slow, very.
Maybe pull back a bit.
Yeah, you get I'll get there eventually if it warrants it. But yeah, it's if you pet the tiger, you're not going straight in. You're going to get your hand ripped off, and that's kind of what it's like being a Viking fan. For everyone knows if you're a Viking fan. But they look really, really good.
Yeah, no, they do.
That's the other thing. We said if they beat San Francisco, we'll get excited. Then we said if they beat Houston, we'll get excited. So at some point, you do have to get excited.
Why not consider them a threat? And also, the Lions are competing with teams now in Green Bay who should have went to the NFC Championship last year against them, and Minnesota, who's beaten 2 of the better teams in the league. So to put Detroit at 1 here, I understand it. I probably wouldn't, but I understand why he did.
Still a very good Lions team.
Right. Still a I don't want to take anything away from the Lions.
Division.
Yeah, it's the opposite of the Texans.
Who's the bigger threat? The Vikings or the Packers?
I'm going to hate to admit this to you. No, I'm going to actually say the Vikings. I'm going to say the Vikings.
It's fine. I mean, say whatever you want.
I had the Vikings at 13-4 preseason. I think Green Bay is good. I think they beat you this week, but I think Minnesota is the biggest threat to the division.
It feels like a Packers spot this weekend right now. It's again, we're recording on Monday right now. It's still super early in the week. We're going to have a ton of content on Vikings Packers, but it feels like a Packers spot where Darnold's sort of due for regression. The Packers are at home, kind of rolling. The Vikings have been exceeding expectations. Love returns. They're the Packers. We're the Vikings. Like everything points in the direction of Green Bay winning by, maybe even double digits. But I do think the Vikings are the bigger threat at the moment.
No, I'd say they are too, yeah.
And really, the only question in my mind is whether or not Darnold can keep it up. And that's a big question. So Packers fans are totally right if they come in and say, hey, like that, yeah, you can't just, you can't just put all your faith in Sam Darnold and say you're better than us. Like he could implode at any moment. That's totally true. But from what you've seen so far through 3 weeks, like he looks good. And the defense looks great.
I'd also expect the defense to digress a little bit. I mean, I've been floored with what I saw.
I think they're the first team in 20 years to have 5 or more sacks in their first 3 games.
Yeah, I've been floored with what I've seen with them. They've looked flat out amazing. And to hold Stroud to 7 points, this will change. I think I'll finish the year saying Green Bay is probably the bigger threat. But right now on September, 23rd, second day of fall, I'm going to say it's Minnesota.
Well, and I think the Packers are very good. I think the Packers
100%.
have been...
I mean, Green Bay, yeah.
If you really take the season in perspective right now, given what's going on with Green Bay, they got to be one of the more impressive teams in the league.
You also know Jordan Love will be back. He'll be good. He'll be consistent. Sam Darnold's more of a question mark. Right now, he's proving everybody wrong, though.
But how much more So here's actually kind of a question that I want to talk about a little bit with you. Like we're just kind of spitballing right now, but Jordan Love was awesome to close the year, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's the MVP of the league the second half of the season. And Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. But I actually might trust the Vikings offense to be better consistently than Green Bay. It's weird to say that, but I think with Addison, with Jefferson and Hawkinson, maybe you trust Green Bay more, but the Vikings offense is not as far away from Green Bay as people think. I mean, it could be better. I think the peak might be higher. I
agree. The ceiling might be higher. And you mentioned Addison and Hawkinson aren't even playing right now. And they put up 34 on Houston. And Darnold's looked great without those two. Jordan Love last year, the last 10 games, he had 1 turnover?
No, he was unbelievable.
So just what he's done, just what he did, I think I trust him to just take care of the ball more.
More than Darnold?
And I can see a world where Darnold kind of just becomes the Darnold we're used to. Again, I don't want that world, but I could see that world. So I just trust Jordan Love a bit more than I do.
Okay, no, I'm not trying to for anyone listening, I'm not trying to be a Vikings fan who's pumping us up too much. I'm genuinely curious what people think. At what point have you seen enough from Darnold to say, okay, kind of like with Goff, it's eventually we got to the point where people said right now there's still questions about Goff once in a while, but most people think Jared Goff is very good and they trust him in most situations.
Hey, Darnold has his haters too. He's proving people wrong.
Yeah. So I wonder, between the Vikings, Packers, and Lions, and a lot of people thought it would be, not you, a lot of people thought it would be the Bears in this conversation instead.
Yeah. No way.
But that division is really fun because all 3 teams can kind of come at you in various ways. The defenses have good rushers. I mean, their secondaries the Vikings and Packers secondaries are playing well for the most part. And then the offenses can be very explosive, but they all have these little parts of them that you question, like Love's injury. I still have some questions about Love, actually. I still need to see some things answered. And then Goff and Darnold have that, they could blow up at any time.
Yeah, but Sam Darnold has looked great. I'm not...
MVP candidate.
Yeah, I don't want to see him blow. I'm rooting for the kid.
People are talking about Darnold right now, and we said this at the start of the year. No, I didn't see anyone else really talk about this. But one, Sam Darnold, the thing's trending that he's younger than Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he's 27 years old.
He's 27 years old.
I mean,
what does he have
26.
to do, to get a contract extension? And would JJ, you're trying to find, I saw John Middlecoff say this on his 3 and Out podcast. He's like, you're trying to find the guy. That's the whole point of this. Whether it's McCarthy or Sam, if Sam Darnold's great all year, at some point you have to say, hey, JJ's super young. Let's keep him on the bench and sign Darnold for another year. Keep letting him learn. I mean, the Packers, there's a reason Jordan Love's in his 5th year.
I mean, this is
it's kind of fun. It's a fun topic.
No, this really is becoming the best division in football. It's being molded like that week by week. And if Sam Darnold wins this division,
then it's all
that's 100%. He's your quarterback the next few years, right? JJ's the backup.
Yeah, the NFC North
that's guaranteed.
It feels so weird right now because you don't really know who to trust at times. So it doesn't have the star power that, there's no Mahomes. There's no
Josh Allen.
There's no Lamar and Burrow. There's no there is no stud quarterback.
Lamar sucks.
but but they have like very good teams. And Jordan Love is the guy. If there was going to be one star quarterback of the group, it will be Jordan Love, assuming he continues to trend up.
Sam Darnold's saying, "Hold my beer."
Sam Darnold's
saying, "Hold my beer."
What, he's like a year older than Jordan Love, right?
He's saying, "Hold my beer."
It's really exciting to see.
He feels like a fossil, but he's not.
No, you look at Sam Darnold and you think he's like 34 years old.
Yeah, and there's always too
we saw him at USC he was in college when we were in college.
Yeah, he's a year above us. We're 26. They're almost 26. But there's also that chip on your shoulder. Like when nobody's believed in you in the past, you have that reputation. Now you come into a different team, a different system. He's not as bad as people think, and he's showing that.
This wasn't supposed to turn into the Around the NFC North segment. We weren't going to do it tonight, but it kind of did turn into.
It's just natural.
It's natural. But I think it's a fun conversation topic to have.
Do you think the Bears finish top 5 in the SEC this year? I'd say
Georgia, Bama, Tennessee,
Ole Miss.
Bears probably coming at 5. Right?
Texas.
I'm not. Oh my gosh! I totally forgot about. I forgot about Oklahoma and Texas. Yeah, no, they're out.
Oklahoma. No, they stink.
They beat Missouri. The Bears beat Missouri.
Bears beat Missouri. Yeah. Bears beat Auburn, Arkansas.
Yep. Beat Auburn, Arkansas.
Florida.
They beat Kentucky.
A&M, Kentucky.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd slate them probably 6.
They're 6. Easy 6.
Easy 6, yeah.
That's brutal. That's brutal.